You're consistently overshadowed by seemingly more competent people in every room, while certain individuals command instant respect and deference through genuine competence that makes them most capable trusted person present. Recognizing that becoming most competent is not about natural talent, genetics, or luck, but systematic development of specific capabilities combined with strategic demonstration, making competence undeniable to all observers. Knowing that most competent person in room holds extraordinary power through being go-to expert problem solver and decision maker, whom everyone defers to, consults, and relies upon, creating automatic authority and influence. Understanding that competence is not single skill, but comprehensive capability architecture, spanning technical mastery, judgment, quality, execution, speed, learning ability, and interpersonal effectiveness, making competence multidimensional achievement, and losing years of opportunity, influence, and income because your competence remains mediocre or invisible, making you overlooked while less capable. But more strategic competitors capture resources, relationships, and recognition, making competence development essential for extraordinary success. This mediocre, invisible competence is systematically limiting your success by ensuring you remain forgettable, replaceable commodity whom nobody seeks out, consults, or trusts with important work, preventing you from capturing high-value opportunities that flow automatically to obviously competent people, while you must constantly prove yourself, keeping you stuck in low-leverage activities while competent people handle strategic, important work, ensuring you receive commodity compensation for commodity skills while supremely competent command premium prices, and guaranteeing that decades pass achieving fraction of potential, because genuine comprehensive competence compounds, creating exponential advantages over time, making competence architecture development critical strategic priority. Becoming most competent person in any room is not about becoming literally best in world at everything, but about systematically building capability architecture across key domains, creating clear relative superiority within your contexts. Not about isolated excellence in narrow specialty, but about comprehensive multidimensional competence spanning technical skills, judgment, execution, relationships, and continuous improvement, and not mysterious innate superiority, but learnable systematic development through specific frameworks. This audiobook teaches how to become most competent through 10 strategic frameworks, including developing deep technical mastery in core domain, building comprehensive mental models, enabling superior judgment, cultivating extreme ownership and reliability, making you trustworthy, developing rapid, high-quality execution speed, mastering strategic learning and skill acquisition, building broad multidisciplinary knowledge, creating connections, developing superior communication, making competence visible, cultivating calm, competent demeanor under pressure, building track record of remarkable results, proving capability, and integrating all elements into comprehensive competence architecture, making you obviously most capable person in any room. Stop being overshadowed and start becoming most competent. Stop mediocre, invisible capabilities and start undeniable comprehensive excellence. Master 10 frameworks systematically, develop relentlessly, and become most competent through unwavering commitment, starting now. Chapter 1. Framework 1. Develop deep technical mastery in core domain. Chapter 1 develops deep technical mastery in core domain, establishing expertise foundation that makes you go-to authority and problem solver whom others automatically defer to and consult. The technical mastery importance shows that genuine lasting competence requires deep expertise in your primary domain through thoroughly mastering fundamentals, principles, and advanced applications rather than settling for superficial familiarity. That shallow knowledge creates fragile appearance without substance, competence that collapses when challenged by complex problems or sophisticated questioners, revealing inadequacy. That deep mastery enables handling unusual, difficult edge cases that stump others, establishing you as person who solves problems nobody else can. That technical depth creates confidence, authority, and genuine capability that cannot be faked or hidden, making mastery obvious to knowledgeable observers. And understanding that technical foundation in core domain is absolutely essential competence base, because without genuine expertise in something you have nothing solid to build upon, making all other competence elements rest on sand rather than rock, ensuring eventual exposure as pretender, making deep technical mastery non-negotiable. First framework. Master core domain deeply through deliberate practice. Build genuine expertise, develop mastery, or remain superficially competent. The deliberate practice requirement establishes that expertise develops through sustained focus practice at edge of current ability with immediate feedback, and conscious adjustment over thousands of hours, not through casual repetition or passive exposure. And as Erickson's research shows that expert-level performance in complex domains requires approximately 10,000 hours of deliberate practice accumulated over a decade of focused development. Deliberate practice differs fundamentally from mere experience or repetition through requiring practice at edge of ability where success is uncertain, forcing adaptation and growth, demanding intense focused concentration without distraction or multitasking, providing immediate specific feedback revealing gaps between current and optimal performance, involving conscious adjustment of technique based on feedback rather than mindless repetition, and maintaining this intensive edge of ability. Practice for extended focus sessions. Most people never engage true deliberate practice, instead repeating comfortable familiar tasks that maintain current level without forcing growth. Winners commit to daily deliberate practice, accepting years of sustained effort required for genuine mastery. The fundamentals obsession ensures expert-level mastery of basic principles and core concepts that novices rush past, but experts recognize as essential foundation. Every domain has fundamental principles, concepts, and techniques that underlie all advanced applications. Mastering fundamentals thoroughly means understanding them deeply from multiple angles, being able to apply them automatically without conscious thought, recognizing when and how they apply to novel situations, and teaching them clearly to others, proving deep understanding. Advanced practitioners who neglected fundamentals hit performance ceiling because advanced techniques require solid basic foundation. Masters return repeatedly to fundamentals, refining understanding and execution throughout careers. Identify core fundamentals in your domain and achieve absolute mastery through exhaustive study, practice, and application. The mental models development builds deep understanding of underlying principles, frameworks, and patterns that govern how domain works rather than memorizing surface-level procedures. Mental models enable understanding why things work, not just how, creating ability to handle novel situations that differ from memorized examples. In software engineering, mental models include how computers process instructions, how data structures affect performance, and how systems interact. In business, models include supply and demand, competitive advantage, and organizational behavior. Deep mental models enable reasoning from first principles, adapting to changed circumstances, and creating novel solutions rather than merely following scripts. Build mental models through studying principles, analyzing how experts think, and deliberately practicing applying models to diverse situations. The edge case mastery handles unusual boundary conditions, exceptions, and rare situations that most practitioners never encounter or cannot solve. Every domain has edge cases that occur rarely but require deep understanding to handle correctly. Medical edge cases involve rare disease presentations. Legal edge cases involve unusual fact patterns. Engineering edge cases involve extreme conditions or unexpected interactions. Masters encounter and successfully handle edge cases that stump others through deep principle understanding, enabling reasoning through novel situations. Study edge cases systematically. Analyze how masters handle them, and practice applying principles to unusual scenarios, building capability beyond standard situations. The progressive complexity development advances systematically from simple to complex problems, building capability incrementally. Attempting advanced challenges before mastering fundamentals creates frustration and gaps. Progress requires mastering current level completely, then advancing to next difficulty increment. In mathematics, this means thoroughly mastering arithmetic before algebra, algebra before calculus. In any domain, identify skill progression from basic to advanced, and ensure complete mastery at each level before advancing. The expert feedback integration accelerates development through seeking assessment from those who have already achieved mastery. Expert coaches or mentors identify gaps and inefficiencies invisible to novices, providing targeted guidance. Competition against or collaboration with experts reveals performance gaps and demonstrates superior technique. Actively seek expert feedback through formal coaching, peer review, or simply observing and questioning masters. The teaching requirement proves and deepens mastery through explaining concepts to others. Teaching forces organizing knowledge coherently, identifying gaps in understanding, and developing multiple explanations for different audiences. Struggle to explain clearly reveals incomplete understanding, requiring further study. Regularly teach or explain your domain to others as mastery verification. The implementation requires identifying your core domain, requiring deep mastery, and committing to becoming genuine expert. engaging in deliberate practice daily at edge of current ability with feedback, mastering fundamentals thoroughly before advancing to complex applications, building deep mental models, understanding underlying principles, studying and practicing edge cases and exceptions, progressing systematically through increasing complexity levels, seeking expert feedback and coaching regularly, teaching others to verify and deepen understanding, and treating deep technical mastery as essential non-negotiable competence foundation where superficial knowledge created appearance without substance that collapsed under pressure or challenge. Master core domain deeply through deliberate practice. Build genuine expertise. Develop mastery or remain superficially competent. You understand now that mastery requires 10,000 hours deliberate practice, that fundamentals provide essential foundation, that mental models enable principle-based reasoning, that edge cases prove deep understanding, and that Chapter 1 provides technical mastery framework making genuine expertise possible where superficial knowledge created fragile incompetence. Chapter 2. Framework 2 build comprehensive mental models enabling superior judgment. Chapter 2 builds comprehensive mental models enabling superior judgment and decision-making that consistently produces better outcomes than others achieve. The mental model's power shows that judgment quality determines results more than technical skill alone, because even brilliant execution of poor decisions creates failure, while good judgment enables directing effort toward highest value actions. The diverse comprehensive mental model toolkit enables analyzing problems from multiple complementary perspectives, revealing insights that single perspective analysis misses completely, that mental models function as cognitive frameworks or lenses, highlighting specific patterns, relationships, and dynamics, making complex situations comprehensible and actionable. That master decision makers apply appropriate models automatically, seeing connections, implications, and consequences invisible to those lacking frameworks, and understanding that superior judgment through mental model mastery distinguishes truly competent people who consistently make wise decisions from merely technically skilled people who execute well, but choose poorly, making mental models essential competence element separating strategic thinkers from tactical executors. Build mental models enabling superior judgment. Apply frameworks systematically. Develop models or think superficially. The essential mental models provide core toolkit that competent people apply across diverse situations. First principles thinking breaks complex problems down to fundamental truths, then reasons up from bedrock rather than reasoning by analogy or convention. When facing problem, first principles asks what do we know to be absolutely true? What are irreducible elements that cannot be simplified further? And how can we recombine fundamental elements into solution? Elon Musk famously applied first principles to rocket costs, asking what are rockets made of and what do raw materials cost, rather than accepting industry conventional pricing. This revealed rocket costs could be tiny fraction of traditional prices, enabling SpaceX revolution. First principles cuts through assumptions, conventions, and analogies, reaching fundamental truth, enabling breakthrough thinking. Probabilistic thinking evaluates likelihood and expected value rather than treating outcomes as certain or impossible. Instead of asking will this succeed or fail, probabilistic thinking asks what is probability distribution across possible outcomes and what is expected value considering probability-weighted results. This enables better decisions under uncertainty through explicitly acknowledging that most outcomes involve probability, not certainty. Probabilistic thinking prevents all or nothing errors, enables comparing options with different risk-reward profiles, and improves calibration through tracking prediction accuracy over time. Systems thinking sees interconnected elements, feedback loops, and emergent behaviors rather than isolated independent events. Systems thinking recognizes that elements within system affect each other through relationships, creating behaviors that cannot be understood by analyzing parts in isolation. When analyzing problem, systems thinking maps elements and relationships, identifies reinforcing and balancing feedback loops, looks for leverage points where small changes create large effects, and anticipates unintended consequences from interventions. Systems thinking reveals why obvious solutions often fail through triggering feedback loops, and identifies non-obvious high-leverage interventions. Second-order thinking considers consequences of consequences by repeatedly asking, and then what happens rather than stopping at immediate first-order effects. Most people evaluate decisions based only on immediate direct results, missing the cascading implications that ultimately determine outcomes. Second-order thinking asks what happens immediately, then what happens as a result of that first effect, Then what happens after second effect? Continuing through multiple iterations, revealing ultimate consequences. Eating unhealthy food produces first-order pleasure, but second-order weight gain and third-order health problems. Short-term thinking optimizes first-order, while second-order thinking optimizes ultimate outcomes. Margin of safety builds buffers for uncertainty and error, preventing catastrophic failure from inevitable mistakes or unexpected events. Margin of safety recognizes that predictions contain error. Execution is imperfect, and unexpected problems arise, requiring safety margins between expected requirements and available resources. Engineer designs bridge to handle 5 times expected load, creating margin preventing collapse from underestimated loads. Investor requires significant discount to estimated value, creating margin preventing loss from valuation errors. Margin of safety thinking systematically builds redundancy and buffers, enabling survival of inevitable errors. Inversion approaches problems backward by asking what would guarantee failure, then systematically avoiding those things. Charlie Munger regularly inverts, asking not just how to succeed, but what would make me fail catastrophically, then avoiding failure modes. Inversion reveals risks and obstacles that forward-only thinking misses. Before important decision, conduct pre-mortem, imagining project failed completely, then working backward, identifying what caused failure, revealing hidden risks, enabling mitigation. Opportunity cost recognizes that every choice has hidden cost of foregone alternatives, making true cost higher than explicit price. Choosing to spend hour watching television costs whatever else you could have done, including exercise, learning, or relationship building. Opportunity cost thinking evaluates decisions by considering not just what you gain, but what you sacrifice, choosing one option over alternatives. The model application practice develops automatic pattern recognition through deliberately applying models to diverse situations, building fluency. Initially, applying models requires conscious effort and feels awkward. With practice, model application becomes increasingly automatic, with appropriate models surfacing naturally when encountering relevant situations. Practice by explicitly identifying which models apply to decisions you face, working through model application systematically, and reviewing decisions afterward, assessing which models would have improved analysis. The cross-domain model transfer applies models from one field to another, creating novel insights and solutions. Models from physics, biology, economics, and other domains often apply to seemingly unrelated fields. Evolution and natural selection from biology applies to business strategy. Network effects from technology apply to social dynamics. Deliberately study models from diverse fields, seeking cross-domain applications. The implementation requires learning core mental models, including first principles, probabilistic thinking systems, thinking second-order consequences, margin of safety, inversion, and opportunity cost. Practicing deliberate model application to real decisions, building diverse multidisciplinary model toolkits spanning multiple domains, developing automatic model recognition and application through sustained practice, seeking cross-domain transfer, applying models across fields, and treating comprehensive mental models as enabling superior judgment that consistently produces better decisions and outcomes, where model absence created shallow single perspective analysis, missing critical insights and implications. Build mental models enabling superior judgment. Apply frameworks systematically. Develop models or think superficially. You understand now that models provide thinking frameworks, that first principles reaches fundamental truth, that probabilistic thinking handles uncertainty, that systems thinking reveals interconnections, and that Chapter 2 provides mental model toolkit, making superior judgment possible, where model absence limited thinking to superficial analysis. Chapter 3. Framework 3. Cultivate extreme ownership and reliability, making you trustworthy. Chapter 3 cultivates extreme ownership and reliability, making you most trustworthy person whom others depend upon with complete confidence. The ownership principle shows that taking complete responsibility for outcomes regardless of circumstances creates profound trust and respect from all observers, because ownership demonstrates maturity, integrity, and commitment to results. That blame-shifting, finger-pointing, and excuse-making destroy credibility, trust, and respect, even when excuses are technically valid, because people instinctively distrust those who avoid responsibility. That extreme ownership means accepting responsibility, even for factors partially or completely beyond your direct control, including other people's failures, external circumstances, and unforeseeable events, because leader owns all outcomes regardless of cause. That ownership creates psychological safety for others who know you will not throw them under bus when problems occur. And understanding that trustworthiness through extreme ownership is absolutely essential competence element, because technical skill without reliability and integrity creates risk. Not value-making people avoid rather than seek you, making ownership cultivation critical for being most competent trusted person in any room. Take extreme ownership building trust. Deliver reliably without exception. Own outcomes or lose credibility. The no excuses mentality accepts complete responsibility for results without offering justifications, explanations, or blame, regardless of whether external factors contributed to failure. When project fails or deadline misses, extreme ownership says, I own this outcome, and here is how I will prevent recurrence, rather than explaining why failure was not your fault through citing team member incompetence, resource constraints, changing requirements, or other external factors. Even when excuses are legitimate and observers would accept them, offering excuses signals that you see yourself as victim of circumstances rather than master of outcomes. Extreme ownership says, regardless of what happened, I am responsible for results, and I will ensure success going forward. This mentality creates extraordinary trust because people know you will never shirk responsibility or deflect blame. The reliability through consistency delivers on commitments without exception, building reputation for absolute dependability. Most competent person keeps promises, always completing commitments on time at promised quality level regardless of difficulty or obstacles encountered. Reliability means when you say you will do something, it happens with certainty comparable to physical law. This reliability creates enormous value because others can plan confidently around your commitments knowing they will materialize. Contrast with unreliable people who frequently miss deadlines, deliver substandard work, or simply fail to follow through, forcing others to create backup plans and contingencies. Build reliability through conservative promising only what you can definitely deliver, building margin into timelines, prioritizing commitments above less important activities, and communicating proactively if obstacles arise before deadlines pass. The proactive problem-solving addresses issues before they escalate into crises, demonstrating foresight and initiative. Competent people identify potential problems early when they remain small, manageable, and fixable, rather than waiting until problems grow into visible disasters requiring emergency intervention. Proactive problem-solving monitors key indicators, watching for early warning signs, addresses small issues immediately before they compound, communicates risks to stakeholders, enabling early course correction, and develops contingency plans for identified risks. Reactive people ignore small problems hoping they resolve themselves, then face crises requiring heroic effort. Proactive people prevent most crises through early intervention. The transparent communication keeps stakeholders informed about progress, obstacles, and risks, rather than hiding problems hoping to fix them before anyone notices. Transparency means sharing both good and bad news promptly, explaining problems and proposed solutions clearly, and updating stakeholders regularly, rather than going dark during difficulties. Transparent communication builds trust through demonstrating honesty and enabling stakeholder input on problems. Hidden problems discovered late destroy trust even when ultimately resolved because hiding shows fear of accountability. The mistake acknowledgement admits errors quickly and clearly rather than concealing defensiveness or minimizing. Everyone makes mistakes, but competent people acknowledge them immediately, take responsibility, and implement corrections. Attempted cover-ups or defensive justifications destroy credibility far more than mistakes themselves. When you make error, say, I made mistake. Here is what I am doing to fix it, and here is how I will prevent recurrence. This acknowledgement, combined with rapid correction, builds rather than destroys trust. The accountability to standards holds yourself to higher standards than required by others, creating self-imposed excellence. Most competent person exceeds rather than merely meets expectations through internal drive, not external pressure. This means delivering higher quality than requested, finishing earlier than required, and solving problems more thoroughly than necessary. Self-accountability creates sustainable excellence independent of external monitoring or motivation. The help seeking when needed demonstrates wisdom and humility by requesting assistance when facing problems beyond current capability, rather than struggling silently and failing. Extreme ownership does not mean refusing all help, but means owning the outcome and doing whatever necessary to achieve it, including seeking expertise or resources you lack. Asking for help early when it prevents failure shows competence, while hiding struggles until crisis shows pride and incompetence. The credit sharing generously attributes success to team members and contributors rather than claiming sole credit even when you did majority of work. Generous credit sharing builds goodwill, loyalty, and future cooperation, while credit hogging creates resentment and isolation. Competent leader says team achieved this through specific contributions, while incompetent leader says I accomplished this with some help. The implementation requires adopting no excuses mentality, taking complete responsibility for outcomes without justifications, building reliability through delivering on commitments without exception, solving problems proactively before they escalate into crises, communicating transparently about progress, obstacles, and risks, acknowledging mistakes quickly and implementing corrections, holding yourself to higher standards than externally required, seeking help when needed to ensure success, sharing credit generously with team members and contributors, and treating extreme ownership and reliability as building unshakable trust, making you most dependable competent person where blame shifting, excuse making, and unreliability destroy credibility, making people avoid rather than seek you. Take extreme ownership, building trust, deliver reliably without exception, own outcomes or lose credibility. You understand now that ownership creates trust while blame shifting destroys it, that reliability through consistency builds reputation, that proactive problem solving prevents crises, that transparency enables collaboration, and that Chapter 3 provides ownership framework, making trustworthiness possible where excuses and unreliability destroy credibility. Chapter 4. Framework 4 develop rapid, high-quality execution speed. Chapter 4 develops rapid, high-quality execution speed, delivering excellent results faster than others, creating compounding advantages. The speed-quality balance shows that truly competent people deliver both exceptional speed and outstanding quality, simultaneously not trading one dimension for other, because speed without quality creates rework waste and damaged reputation, while quality without speed misses opportunities and appears as perfectionist procrastination. That rapid execution creates compounding advantages through completing more iterations, learning faster, and capturing time-sensitive opportunities that slow competitors miss entirely. That execution speed multiplies all other competencies because brilliant insights poorly executed create zero value, while good ideas executed rapidly create substantial results. That speed signals competence, confidence, and energy, while slowness suggests incompetence, uncertainty, or laziness, regardless of ultimate quality. And understanding that execution excellence requires mastering both speed and quality dimensions simultaneously, making rapid, high-quality delivery essential competence element, distinguishing action-oriented achievers from slow perfectionists or fast, sloppy workers. Execute rapidly with high quality. Balance speed and excellence. Deliver both or sacrifice competence. The systematic approach enables speed through developing clear, repeatable processes for recurring tasks, eliminating wasted motion and decision fatigue. Every domain has recurring activities that benefit from systematization. Writing has systematic research, outlining, drafting, and editing processes. Software development has systematic design, implementation, testing, and deployment workflows. Business has systematic client onboarding, project management, and delivery processes. Creating explicit systems for recurring work eliminates reinventing approach each time, reduces errors through following proven sequence, enables continuous improvement through refining system, and dramatically accelerates execution through automatic workflow. Identify your recurring high-frequency activities and develop explicit systematic processes, documenting steps, creating templates and checklists, and refining through iteration. The automation investment eliminates repetitive manual work through building tools, scripts, or templates that handle routine tasks automatically. Competent people invest time upfront creating automation that saves multiples of invested time through repeated use. Developer writes script automating deployment instead of manually deploying each time. Writer creates templates for common document types. Analyst builds dashboard automatically updating rather than manually compiling reports. Automation requires initial time investment but creates permanent speed advantage. Identify repetitive tasks consuming significant time and invest in automation, even when manual approach seems faster initially, because automation pays dividends indefinitely. The quality systems prevent errors through implementing systematic safeguards rather than relying on careful attention alone, which inevitably fails under pressure or fatigue. Checklists ensure critical steps are not skipped. Automated testing catches errors before deployment. Peer review identifies issues before delivery. Templates ensure consistent formatting and completeness. Quality systems enable maintaining high standards while working rapidly, because systems catch errors that speed would otherwise introduce. Build quality into process through checklists, templates, automated verification, and review protocols rather than relying solely on careful execution. The time boxing technique creates urgency and focus through allocating fixed time for tasks, forcing completion within constraint. Parkinson's law states work expands to fill available time, making unlimited time guarantee slow completion. Time boxing allocates specific duration, like 2 hours for task, creating pressure to complete within window. Time box forces prioritization of essential elements, prevents perfectionist endless refinement, and creates rhythm of rapid completion. Practice time boxing by estimating task duration, setting timer, working intensely until timer expires, and delivering whatever completion level achieved. Initially, estimates will be inaccurate, but calibration improves with practice. The bias toward action defaults to doing something rather than endless analysis or planning. Analysis paralysis occurs when pursuing perfect information before acting despite diminishing returns of additional research. Most decisions are reversible, allowing course correction if initial action proves suboptimal, making perfect information unnecessary and delay costly. Bias toward action means taking imperfect action that generates feedback, enabling learning and iteration, rather than waiting for certainty that never comes. Practice deciding and acting with less than complete information, accepting that iteration beats planning. The decision velocity increases through making decisions rapidly rather than deferring or overthinking. Competent people decide quickly on reversible low-stakes decisions, reserving extended analysis only for irreversible high-stakes choices. Quick decisions on minor issues prevent bottlenecks and maintain momentum, while slow agonizing over trivial choices wastes time and energy. Develop decision-making framework, categorizing decisions by reversibility and stakes, then applying appropriate decision speed to each category. The parallel processing handles multiple work streams simultaneously rather than purely sequential processing. While some tasks require sequential completion, many activities can progress concurrently. Competent people identify opportunities for parallel work, starting multiple activities, delegating portions to others, or working on secondary tasks during waiting periods on primary work. Parallel processing dramatically increases throughput compared to pure sequential approach. The energy management maintains execution capacity through protecting physical and mental energy. Rapid high-quality execution requires sustained energy, making sleep, exercise, nutrition, and recovery non-negotiable. Depleted energy guarantees slow, sloppy work regardless of systems or techniques. Treat energy protection as execution prerequisite. The iterative refinement improves speed and quality progressively through repeated execution and improvement. First execution of new task is slow and imperfect. Subsequent iterations become faster and better through learning and system refinement. Commit to iteration rather than perfect first attempt, accepting that mastery develops through repetition. The implementation requires developing systematic processes for recurring high-frequency activities, investing in automation of repetitive manual tasks, implementing quality systems including checklists, templates, and review, using time boxing to create urgency and force completion, adopting bias toward action over analysis paralysis, increasing decision velocity on reversible low-stakes choices, enabling parallel processing of multiple work streams, protecting energy through sleep, exercise, and recovery, committing to iterative refinement over perfect first attempts, and treating rapid, high-quality execution as competence multiplier, creating compounding advantages, where slow work missed opportunities and sloppy work created rework waste. Execute rapidly with high quality. Balance speed and excellence. Deliver both or sacrifice competence. You understand now that systems enable speed, that automation creates permanent advantages, that quality systems prevent errors, that time boxing forces completion, and that Chapter 4 provides execution framework, making rapid excellence possible where slow or sloppy work undermine capability. Chapter 5. Framework 5 Masters Strategic Learning and Skill Acquisition. Chapter 5 Masters Strategic Learning and Skill Acquisition, enabling continuous capability expansion that keeps you ahead of competition. The learning mastery shows that most competent people in any room learn faster and more effectively than others, because learning ability determines how quickly you close capability gaps and develop new skills, making learning the ultimate meta skill. That meta learning skills understanding how to learn efficiently compound, enabling accelerating development where each new skill becomes easier to acquire than previous one. That strategic learning focuses development effort on highest value. capabilities creating disproportionate returns rather than scattered, unfocused learning that builds random skills. That learning mastery creates sustainable competence advantage. Because while single skills become obsolete, learning ability enables continuously developing whatever capabilities emerging contexts require. And understanding that mastering learning itself is essential for sustained competence leadership, because static capabilities ensure eventual obsolescence while continuous. Learning maintains permanent edge, making learning mastery critical framework. Master learning enabling continuous growth. Learn strategically and rapidly. Develop meta skills or learn inefficiently. The deliberate practice principles apply to skill acquisition through focused effortful practice at edge of current ability with immediate feedback. Skill development requires same deliberate practice that builds expertise with practice sessions, targeting specific skill components, working at difficulty level where success is uncertain, forcing adaptation, receiving immediate feedback, revealing gaps, making conscious adjustments based on feedback, and maintaining focused concentration without distraction. Most people never engage deliberate skill practice, instead casually dabbling or repeating comfortable activities that maintain current level. Winners structure skill development as deliberate practice, pushing capability edge systematically. The learning transfer applies knowledge and skills across domains, creating accelerated acquisition. Transfer occurs when learning in one context facilitates learning in another related context. Learning Spanish accelerates learning French through shared Latin roots. Programming skill in one language accelerates learning additional languages through shared concepts. Understanding transfer enables deliberately seeking cross-domain connections and choosing learning that provides maximum transfer value. Study transfer by identifying underlying principles that apply across domains, practicing applying learned skills in new contexts, and seeking analogies between current learning and previous knowledge. The spaced repetition ensures long-term retention through reviewing material at increasing intervals rather than massed practice or single exposure. Spaced repetition exploits psychological spacing effect, where distributed practice creates stronger memory than equivalent time in massed practice. Review new material after 1 day, 3 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months, creating expanding schedule that cements knowledge into long-term memory. Use spaced repetition software for factual knowledge, or create manual review schedule for skills and concepts. Most people learn once then forget, requiring complete relearning when needed. Winners use spaced repetition, ensuring permanent retention. The active recall tests memory through retrieving information rather than passive review or recognition. Active recall through self-testing produces stronger learning than rereading or highlighting, because retrieval effort strengthens memory. After studying material, close book and write everything you remember. Struggle to recall information strengthens memory more than easy recognition during rereading. Practice active recall through flashcards. Practice problems, teaching others, or simply writing summaries from memory. The interleaving mixes different topics or skills during practice sessions rather than blocking similar items together. Interleaving means practicing skill A, then B, then C, then back to A, rather than completing all a practice before moving to BN. Research shows interleaving produces better long-term retention and transfer despite feeling more difficult than blocked practice. Mathematics students learn better practicing mixed problems than completing all problems of one type before advancing. Interleave practice by mixing different skills or topics within sessions rather than completing one completely before starting next. The mental models and principles focus enables transferable understanding rather than memorizing specific examples or procedures. Understanding underlying principles allows applying knowledge to novel situations, while memorized examples only work for exact matches. Learn why things work, not just how they work, building models that enable reasoning from first principles. Study principles, analyze expert reasoning, and practice applying principles to diverse situations. The learning velocity increases through removing obstacles and optimizing conditions. Learning velocity depends on time invested, focus quality, feedback speed, and method effectiveness. Increase velocity by allocating dedicated learning time free from interruption, eliminating distractions, enabling deep focus, seeking immediate feedback from experts or tests, and using evidence-based methods like spaced repetition and active recall rather than ineffective techniques like highlighting or rereading. The strategic skill selection prioritizes high-value capabilities, creating maximum career or life returns. Not all skills deserve equal development time, making prioritization essential. High-value skills create disproportionate returns through broad applicability, strong market demand, compounding with other capabilities, or enabling unique combinations. Identify skills with highest expected value through analyzing market demand, considering personal goals and context, and seeking rare valuable combinations. Focus learning on strategic priorities rather than random interesting topics. The meta-learning optimization improves learning ability itself through studying learning science and optimizing personal learning systems. Meta-learning means learning how to learn more effectively. Study cognitive science. Test different learning methods. Track learning speed and retention. Identify personal strengths and weaknesses, and continuously refine learning approach. Most people never examine or improve their learning process, continuing ineffective methods from school. Winners optimize learning itself. The implementation requires applying deliberate practice principles to skill acquisition, seeking learning transfer across related domains, using spaced repetition for long-term retention, practicing active recall through self-testing, interleaving different topics and skills, focusing on mental models and principles over examples, increasing learning velocity through optimization, selecting strategic high-value skills, studying and optimizing meta-learning, and treating learning mastery as enabling continuous competence growth, creating sustainable advantage, where poor learning limited development, ensuring eventual obsolescence. Master learning enabling continuous growth. Learn strategically and rapidly. Develop meta skills or learn inefficiently. You understand now that learning ability is ultimate meta skill, that deliberate practice drives skill development, that spaced repetition ensures retention, that active recall strengthens memory, and that Chapter 5 provides learning framework making continuous growth possible where ineffective learning limited capability development. Chapter 6. Framework 6 build broad multidisciplinary knowledge, creating connections. Chapter 6 builds broad multidisciplinary knowledge, creating valuable cross-domain connections, insights, and innovation. The breadth value shows that deep, narrow expertise alone creates vulnerability through limited perspective, while deep expertise, plus broad multidisciplinary knowledge, creates rare valuable combination, enabling seeing patterns, connections, and opportunities invisible to specialists. That multidisciplinary knowledge enables recognizing when ideas, insights, or solutions from one field apply to seemingly unrelated domains, creating breakthrough innovations that pure specialists miss. That broad knowledge provides context, judgment, and wisdom, tempering narrow technical focus with understanding of broader systems, human factors, and unintended consequences. That cross-domain pattern recognition improves dramatically through exposure to diverse fields, revealing underlying similarities and transferable principles. And understanding that breadth complements depth, creating comprehensive competence through T-shaped expertise, combining deep primary skill with broad secondary knowledge making. Multidisciplinary development essential for becoming most capable person who sees connections others miss. Build broad multidisciplinary knowledge. Combine depth and breadth. Develop T-shaped expertise or remain narrowly specialized. The T-shaped expertise model provides framework for balanced development through combining deep vertical expertise in primary domain with broad horizontal knowledge across multiple complementary fields. The vertical bar represents deep mastery and core capability, developed through years of deliberate practice reaching expert level, making you genuinely excellent at something specific. The horizontal bar represents breadth of knowledge across related and unrelated domains, developed to intermediate understanding level, providing enough capability to recognize patterns, apply insights, and collaborate effectively without achieving deep expertise. T-shaped professional might have deep software engineering expertise as vertical with horizontal breadth in product management, user experience design, business strategy, and psychology. This combination creates far more value than pure specialist with only vertical depth or generalist with only horizontal breadth, because T-shape enables both excellent execution in core domain and effective integration of insights from complementary fields. The strategic breadth selection identifies which complementary domains deserve knowledge investment through analyzing what fields would multiply effectiveness of core expertise. Effective breadth development requires selectivity, because achieving even intermediate knowledge in domain requires substantial time, making random, unfocused breadth building impossible. Choose breadth domains that are genuinely complementary, creating multiplicative value when combined with core skill. Represent high-value capabilities that markets actively need. Enable unique rare combinations when integrated with primary expertise, and align with personal interests, enabling sustained learning. For technical professional, Strategic breadth might include business strategy, communication, or design. For creative professional, analytical thinking, project management, or technology. Strategic breadth multiplies core capability rather than diluting focus. The cross-pollination practice deliberately applies ideas, methods, or insights from one domain to different fields, creating novel solutions. Cross-pollination occurs when recognizing that principal pattern or technique from familiar domain applies to different contexts. Biology concepts like evolution, natural selection, and ecosystems apply to business strategy. Physics principles like leverage, momentum, and equilibrium apply to personal productivity. Mathematics concepts like optimization, probability, and game theory apply to decision-making. Actively seek cross-domain applications by studying diverse fields, identifying underlying principles, and asking how concepts might apply to your domain. The pattern recognition enhancement develops through exposure to diverse domains, revealing recurring patterns and principles that appear across different contexts. Many fundamental patterns repeat across biology, physics, economics, psychology, and other fields. Network effects appear in social systems, biological ecosystems, and technology platforms. Feedback loops govern climate systems, markets, organizations, and personal habits. Seeing same pattern in multiple contexts deepens understanding and reveals universality. Deliberately study diverse domains, seeking recurring patterns that transfer across fields. The analogical thinking applies insights from familiar domains to unfamiliar problems through recognizing structural similarities. Analogical reasoning maps relationships from source domain to target domain, enabling knowledge transfer. Understanding how an immune system distinguishes self from non-self might inform computer security approaches. Studying ant colony optimization might inspire business organizational structures. Practice analogical thinking by identifying problems in your domain, finding analogous situations in different fields, mapping key relationships, and testing whether solutions transfer. The interdisciplinary reading builds broad knowledge through systematic exposure to diverse fields. Most people read exclusively within their profession, missing valuable insights from other domains. Competent people read widely across science, technology, business, psychology, history, and arts, building diverse knowledge base. Allocate reading time across multiple domains, ensuring breadth development. Read foundational texts in diverse fields. Follow interdisciplinary thinkers, and seek knowledge at boundaries between disciplines where innovation often occurs. The collaboration across disciplines exposes you to different perspectives, methods, and knowledge through working with experts from other fields. Interdisciplinary projects require integrating diverse expertise, creating opportunities to learn from collaborators. Actively seek projects involving multiple disciplines. Ask questions, learning from domain experts, and observe how different fields approach problems. Collaboration builds practical applied breadth beyond abstract knowledge. The first principles transfer identifies fundamental principles in one domain, then applies them elsewhere. First principles are foundational truths that remain valid across contexts. Conservation of energy from physics applies metaphorically to time and attention management. Compound interest from finance applies to skill development and relationships. Identify first principles in domains you study and explore applications to other contexts. The knowledge synthesis integration combines insights from multiple domains into coherent frameworks or solutions. Synthesis means combining elements from different sources into unified whole. Most valuable innovations occur at intersections where synthesizing diverse knowledge creates novel combinations. Practice synthesis by identifying insights from multiple fields that address common problem, finding complementary rather than contradictory perspectives, and integrating into comprehensive framework. The implementation requires developing T-shaped expertise, combining deep primary skill with broad complementary knowledge, selecting strategic breadth domains that multiply core capability effectiveness, practicing cross-pollination, deliberately applying ideas across domains, enhancing pattern recognition through diverse exposure, applying analogical thinking, mapping relationships across fields, reading interdisciplinary, building broad knowledge systematically, collaborating across disciplines, learning from diverse experts, transferring first principles, identifying fundamental truths, applying elsewhere, synthesizing knowledge, integrating insights into coherent frameworks, and treating multidisciplinary breadth as complementing technical depth, creating comprehensive competence, where narrow specialization limited perspective, preventing recognition of cross-domain insights, opportunities, and innovations. Build broad multidisciplinary knowledge. Combine depth and breadth. Develop T-shaped expertise or remain narrowly specialized. You understand now that breadth complements depth that T-shaped expertise combines both dimensions, that cross-pollination creates innovation, that pattern recognition improves through diversity, and that Chapter 6 provides breadth framework, making comprehensive knowledge possible where narrow specialization limited perspective. Chapter 7. Framework 7 develops superior communication, making competence visible. Chapter 7 develops superior communication, making competence visible and accessible to others through masterful explanation, presentation, and influence. The communication importance shows that brilliant, incomprehensible competence creates less value impact and recognition than good capability clearly communicated, because value requires both creation and effective communication to stakeholders who cannot appreciate what they cannot understand. That communication skills multiply effectiveness of all other competencies through making technical expertise accessible, judgment persuasive, and results compelling to audiences who control resources, opportunities, and advancement. That most competent person in room communicates complex ideas simply and persuasively, making sophisticated concepts accessible to diverse audiences, rather than hiding behind jargon or assuming others should struggle to understand. That poor communication hides genuine capability, making talented people appear less competent than they are, while excellent communication amplifies even modest capabilities. And understanding that communication mastery is absolutely essential for recognized competence, because markets cannot value capabilities they cannot comprehend, making strategic communication critical framework, ensuring your competence is visible, influential, and appropriately rewarded. Communicate competence clearly and persuasively. Make capabilities visible. Master communication or hide competence. The clear explanation simplifies complexity, making sophisticated ideas accessible to non-expert audiences through precise word choice, logical structure, appropriate analogies, and audience-centered presentation. Clear explanation requires deep understanding, because only those who truly grasp concepts can explain them simply, while those with superficial knowledge hide behind complexity and jargon. Practice clear explanation through identifying core concept you want to communicate, analyzing audience knowledge level and needs, eliminating unnecessary jargon and complexity, using concrete examples and analogies from audience experience, organizing logically, building from simple to complex, and testing explanation on non-expert to verify clarity. Clear explanation proves understanding, while complex presentation often masks confusion. The persuasive communication influences decisions and actions through understanding audience motivations, addressing concerns, and presenting compelling evidence-based arguments. Persuasion differs from manipulation through transparency, honesty, and genuine value creation for all parties. Effective persuasion requires understanding audience perspective, including their goals, fears, and decision criteria. Framing recommendations in terms of audience benefits, not your preferences. Anticipating and addressing objections proactively, providing concrete evidence and examples supporting claims, telling compelling stories, making abstract concepts memorable and emotional, and requesting specific clear actions rather than vague agreement. Practice persuasion through studying rhetoric and influence, analyzing effective persuaders, and deliberately practicing in real situations. The active listening ensures understanding before responding through fully attending to speaker, asking clarifying questions, and confirming comprehension. Most people listen poorly, instead planning their response while speaker talks, missing critical information and nuance. Active listening involves giving complete attention without interrupting or mentally preparing response, asking questions, ensuring accurate understanding, paraphrasing back what you heard for confirmation, noting not just words but tone, emotion, and unstated concerns, and only responding after fully understanding speaker perspective. Active listening prevents misunderstandings, builds rapport and trust, and enables addressing actual rather than assumed concerns. The writing mastery develops clear, compelling written communication through disciplined practice and revision. Effective writing requires clarity through simple, direct language and logical organization. Conciseness, eliminating unnecessary words and redundancy. Structure using headings, bullets, and formatting, aiding comprehension. Concrete examples, making abstract ideas tangible. Audience awareness, tailoring style and depth to readers. And revision through multiple drafts, improving clarity and impact. Most people write poorly through never studying craft or revising work. Practice writing regularly. Study effective writers. and refines ruthlessly, eliminating waste and improving clarity. The presentation skills enable compelling verbal delivery through confident body language, clear vocal projection, logical organization, and audience engagement. Effective presentation requires thorough preparation, knowing material deeply, structured content with clear opening body and conclusion, visual aids supporting not duplicating speech, confident delivery through posture, eye contact, and vocal variety, audience engagement through question, stories, and interaction, and practice through repeated rehearsal. Most people present poorly through inadequate preparation or delivery. Practice presenting regularly. Study skilled speakers. Record and review your presentations, and seek feedback. The storytelling ability makes abstract concepts memorable and emotionally resonant through narrative structure. Stories engage audiences more effectively than abstract arguments through creating emotional connection, making concepts concrete and relatable, and providing memorable examples. Effective storytelling includes clear narrative arc with beginning, middle, and end, concrete specific details creating vivid imagery, emotional resonance connecting to universal human experiences, and clear point or lesson emerging from story. Practice storytelling through collecting relevant stories, structuring them effectively, and using them to illustrate key points. The visual communication presents information compellingly through charts, diagrams, slides, and other visual formats. Humans process visual information far faster than text, making visual communication a powerful tool. Effective visual communication follows principles of simplicity, removing unnecessary elements, clarity, making key points immediately obvious, appropriate format matching visualization to data type, and consistency using coherent style and color scheme. Practice visual communication through studying effective examples, learning basic design principles, and creating visuals for your work. The feedback integration improves communication through actively seeking assessment and incorporating suggestions. Communication effectiveness is measured by audience understanding and response, not speaker intent. Regularly ask whether communication was clear, what questions or confusion remained, what made most impact, and what could improve. Adjust based on feedback, improving continuously. The implementation requires developing clear explanation skills, simplifying complexity for diverse audiences, building persuasive communication, influencing decisions through evidence and framing, practicing active listening, ensuring understanding before responding, mastering written communication through disciplined writing and revision, developing presentation skills, enabling confident, compelling delivery, cultivating storytelling ability, making concepts memorable, learning visual communication, presenting information graphically, seeking and integrating feedback, continuously improving effectiveness, and treating superior communication as competence multiplier, making capabilities visible, persuasive, and valuable, where poor communication hid genuine expertise, making talented people appear less capable than reality. Communicate competence clearly and persuasively. Make capabilities visible. Master communication or hide competence. You understand now that communication multiplies all capabilities, that clear explanation proves deep understanding, that persuasion requires audience-centered framing, that active listening enables accurate response, and that Chapter 7 provides communication framework, making competence visible where poor communication hid expertise. Chapter 8. Framework 8. Cultivate calm, competent demeanor under pressure. Chapter 8 cultivates calm, competent demeanor under pressure, creating confidence in your capability during crises, challenges, and high-stakes situations. The composure value shows that remaining calm, controlled, and effective under pressure signals genuine deep competence to all observers, because composure reveals that challenges do not exceed your capability or rattle your confidence. That panic, stress, or visible anxiety under pressure immediately destroys perception of competence regardless of actual skills, because observers instinctively distrust people who cannot handle stress, assuming inadequacy or lack of experience. That composure enables superior performance during crises through maintaining clear thinking and effective decision-making when others freeze or panic. That calm demeanor creates psychological safety for others who take confidence from your composure during difficult situations. And understanding that cultivating unshakable composure under all conditions is an essential competence element, because high-stakes situations reveal true capability, making your response under pressure define how others perceive your overall competence, making composure development critical framework. Maintain calm composure under pressure. Project confident capability. Stay composed or reveal inadequacy. The stress inoculation builds pressure tolerance through deliberately exposing yourself to controlled, manageable stress in safe contexts, creating adaptation that transfers to uncontrolled stresses. Stress inoculation principle shows that systematic exposure to small doses of stress builds resilience, enabling handling larger stressors through same biological mechanism as vaccines, where controlled exposure creates immunity. Completely avoiding stress creates fragility, making even minor pressures overwhelming, while strategic stress exposure creates anti-fragility, where you become stronger through challenge. Practice stress inoculation through deliberately choosing challenging situations slightly beyond comfort zone. Engaging intense physical training, creating controlled physiological stress. Practicing high-pressure presentations or performances. Taking cold showers, creating acute manageable stress. And progressively increasing difficulty as tolerance builds. Consistent voluntary stress exposure builds extraordinary pressure tolerance. The emotional regulation maintains composure through managing physiological arousal and emotional responses during stressful situations. Emotional regulation does not mean suppressing or ignoring emotions, but recognizing them without being controlled by them. Techniques include controlled breathing, using slow deep breathing to activate parasympathetic nervous system and reduce arousal. Cognitive reappraisal, reframing stressful situations as challenges rather than threats, changing physiological response. Mindfulness meditation, building awareness of emotional states without reactive response. Physical exercise, reducing baseline stress hormones and improving stress resilience. And adequate sleep, ensuring physiological capacity for regulation. Practice emotional regulation techniques daily, building capability before crisis, not during emergency. The confident body language projects capability through posture, gesture, and facial expression, even when feeling internal stress. Body language powerfully influences how others perceive your competence and confidence. Confident body language includes upright posture with shoulders back and head level, steady eye contact showing engagement and confidence, controlled gestures emphasizing points without nervous fidgeting, relaxed facial expression avoiding tension or worry, and calm vocal tone, maintaining steady pitch and pace. Practice confident body language deliberately until it becomes automatic, especially during stressful situations. Research shows body language affects not just observer perceptions, but also your own emotional state through feedback loop, where confident posture actually increases confidence. The preparation reduces anxiety through thoroughly preparing for anticipated challenges, eliminating uncertainty, and building confidence. Most stress comes from uncertainty about whether you can handle situation. Thorough preparation creates confidence through knowing you have necessary knowledge, skills, and resources. Preparation includes studying relevant information deeply, practicing required skills extensively, anticipating potential problems and developing contingency plans, gathering necessary resources and support beforehand, and mental rehearsal, visualizing successful execution. Preparation transforms vague anxiety into concrete confidence. The experience accumulation builds genuine composure through repeatedly handling challenging situations, creating familiarity that reduces stress response. First time in any situation creates heightened stress through novelty and uncertainty. Repeated exposure normalizes situation, reducing stress response. Actively seek experiences in challenging situations, building track record that creates genuine confidence. Each successfully navigated challenge proves capability and reduces anxiety about similar future situations. The perspective maintenance prevents catastrophizing through recognizing that most situations are not life or death, making extreme stress response disproportionate. Ask yourself what is actually at risk, what is worst realistic outcome, and whether situation will matter in 1 year. Most professional challenges involve limited actual risk, making panic inappropriate. Maintaining perspective right-sizes emotional response to actual stakes. The focus on controllables reduces anxiety through directing attention toward factors you can influence rather than worrying about uncontrollable elements. Distinguish what you can control, including your effort, preparation, and response, from what you cannot control, including other people's actions, market conditions, or past events. Focusing energy on controllables creates sense of agency, while dwelling on uncontrollables creates helplessness. The post-challenge recovery allows nervous system to restore after high-stress situations, preventing chronic stress accumulation. After intense challenge, engage in deliberate recovery through physical activity, releasing stress hormones, relaxation techniques activating parasympathetic system, social connection providing support, and adequate sleep enabling physiological restoration. Recovery enables sustained performance over time. The implementation requires practicing stress inoculation through controlled voluntary exposure, building tolerance, developing emotional regulation techniques, managing arousal and response, projecting confident body language through posture, gesture, and expression, preparing thoroughly for anticipated challenges, reducing uncertainty, accumulating experience through seeking challenging situations, maintaining perspective, preventing catastrophizing about stakes, focusing on controllables, directing energy toward influence, allowing post-challenge recovery, enabling sustained performance, and treating calm composure as essential competence signal where panic or visible stress under pressure destroyed perceived capability regardless of actual skills, making composure cultivation critical for being trusted with important high-stakes work. Maintain calm composure under pressure. Project confident capability. Stay composed or reveal inadequacy. You understand now that composure signals genuine competence, that stress inoculation builds tolerance, that emotional regulation manages response, that confident body language projects capability, and that Chapter 8 provides composure framework making pressure performance possible where panic destroyed perceived competence. Chapter 9. Framework 9 build track record of remarkable results proving capability. Chapter 9 builds track record of remarkable results proving capability through documented extraordinary achievements that create undeniable evidence of competence. The results focus shows that competence is ultimately measured by outcomes achieved, not effort expended, credentials earned, or skills claimed, because markets pay for results, not inputs, making outcomes the definitive proof of capability. That remarkable results defined as achievements significantly exceeding normal standards create immediate credibility and reputation that claims alone can never establish. The track record of consistent, excellent outcomes provides concrete evidence separating genuinely competent people from those who merely talk well or present impressively. That documented achievements create portable proof of capability that follows you across contexts, organizations, and careers. And understanding that results-based reputation is ultimate competence validation. Because while skills can be exaggerated and credentials can be obtained without genuine capability, remarkable results cannot be faked, making results track record essential final proof, making you undeniably most competent person. Produce remarkable results proving competence. Document achievements comprehensively. Build track record or make unsubstantiated claims. The remarkable standard requires outcomes that significantly exceed normal or expected performance, creating genuine wow response from knowledgeable observers, not just adequate or good performance meeting expectations. Remarkable revenue growth means not merely positive growth, but exceptional expansion, dramatically outpacing industry averages, competitors, or historical performance. Remarkable cost reduction means not minor efficiency gains, but transformational savings, changing fundamental economics. Remarkable customer satisfaction means not satisfied customers, but fanatical advocates, creating organic growth through enthusiastic referrals. Remarkable product quality means not acceptable output, but exceptional excellence, setting new industry standards. Remarkable speed means not timely delivery, but extraordinary acceleration, compressing normal timelines by orders of magnitude. The remarkable threshold varies by context and domain, but consistently means performance in top few percent, creating genuine surprise and admiration from informed observers who recognize difficulty of achievement. The outcome focus directs effort toward producing measurable, meaningful results rather than appearing busy or completing activities. Most people confuse activity with accomplishment, focusing on inputs like hours worked, meetings attended, or tasks completed rather than outcomes actually achieved. Competent people ruthlessly focus on outcomes, asking what results must I produce, what measurable impact must I create, and how will success be objectively evaluated. This outcome focus ensures effort directs toward highest value activities, producing actual results rather than scattered across low-impact busy work. Before starting any work, clearly define what specific measurable outcome constitutes success and direct all effort toward achieving that outcome. The metrics documentation captures achievements through specific quantifiable measures, proving impact objectively rather than relying on vague qualitative descriptions or subjective claims. Effective metrics include percentage improvements showing magnitude of change, like increased conversion rate from 12 to 27%. Absolute numbers demonstrating scale, like generated $14 million incremental revenue. Time comparisons showing acceleration, like reduced processing time from 3 weeks to 4 days. Competitive benchmarks proving relative performance, like achieve top 3% customer retention in industry, or before-after measurements. Illustrating transformation, like reduced defect rate from 8% to 0.5%. Specific metrics create credibility and comparability that vague claims cannot match. Document every significant achievement with specific metrics, enabling objective verification. The causation demonstration proves that your actions created results, rather than merely correlating with outcomes caused by other factors, eliminating alternative explanations. Many people claim credit for results that happened around them through luck, market conditions, or others' work, rather than through their actual contributions. Demonstrating causation requires showing clear connection between your specific actions and documented outcomes through detailed explanation of what you did and mechanism by which it produced results. Controlled comparison showing what happened with your intervention versus baseline or alternative approaches. Elimination of confounding factors that might explain results. And testimonials from others confirming your causal role and contribution. Strong causation proof makes results attribution credible and defensible, where weak connection makes claims questionable. The before-after transformation showcases impact through clearly contrasting initial problematic state with final improved state, highlighting the positive change you created. Before-after presentation might include data visualizations comparing key metrics over time, case study narratives describing transformation journey, testimonial quotes from stakeholders experiencing improvement, or process diagrams showing efficiency gains. Visual before-after comparisons create immediate impact understanding, making transformation tangible and compelling. The stakeholder testimonials provide third-party validation of results through authentic quotes from clients, colleagues, managers, or users confirming outcomes and attributing them to your work. Testimonials should be specific, mentioning particular results achieved and how your contributions created them. Attributed to named credible sources with permission rather than anonymous quotes, and focused on outcomes, not just effort or process. Strong testimonial might say her process redesign reduced our fulfillment time by 64%, saving $200,000 annually, while weak testimonial merely says she worked hard and was great to work with. Collect testimonials immediately after successful projects while experiences are fresh. The portfolio compilation organizes all documented achievements into accessible showcase, enabling quick demonstration of track record when opportunities require proof of capability. Results portfolio should include quantified outcomes for each major achievement, clear causation explanations, before-after comparisons, stakeholder testimonials, and visual documentation where applicable. Maintain updated portfolio, reviewing and adding achievements regularly. The progressive standard raising continuously increases what you consider remarkable as capabilities grow, preventing complacency and ensuring continued stretch. Results that seemed remarkable early in career become routine as skills develop, requiring raising standards to maintain genuine remarkability. Continuously ask whether current achievements truly exceed normal standards or have become merely adequate for your current capability level. The implementation requires focusing relentlessly on producing outcomes that significantly exceed normal standards, documenting achievements through specific quantifiable metrics, proving causation between your actions and results, creating before-after comparisons illustrating transformation, gathering authentic stakeholder testimonials validating impact, compiling comprehensive results portfolio, continuously raising standards as capabilities grow, and treating remarkable results track record as ultimate competence proof, creating undeniable evidence of capability, where claimed skills without documented achievements remained unsubstantiated, making remarkable results essential final validation. Produce remarkable results proving competence. Document achievements comprehensively. Build track record or make unsubstantiated claims. You understand now that results prove competence definitively, that remarkable means significantly exceeding standards, that metrics provide objective evidence, that causation demonstration prevents false attribution, and that Chapter 9 provides results framework making capability undeniable where claims without achievements remained unproven. Chapter 10. Framework 10 integrate all elements into comprehensive competence architecture. Chapter 10 integrates all 9 frameworks into comprehensive competence architecture, making you undeniably most capable person in any room. The integration principle shows that individual frameworks practiced in isolation provide meaningful but partial competence, while comprehensive integration of all frameworks creates synergistic multidimensional capability dramatically exceeding sum of individual parts. That genuine comprehensive competence requires sustained development across all dimensions, simultaneously building technical mastery, judgment, ownership, execution, learning, breadth, communication, composure, and results together not sequentially. That integration creates compound effects where each element enhances effectiveness of others, multiplying total capability. That most competent person demonstrates excellence across all competence dimensions, creating complete capability architecture rather than narrow expertise in single area. And understanding that full integration into cohesive competence architecture represents ultimate goal, transforming you from specialist with isolated skills into comprehensively capable person who excels across all competence dimensions, making integration essential final framework, creating undeniable superiority. Integrate all frameworks into competence architecture. Develop comprehensively across dimensions. Build complete system or remain partially competent. The architecture design maps how all 9 frameworks combine and reinforce each other, creating coherent, integrated whole greater than separate parts. Deep technical mastery from Framework 1 provides expertise foundation, enabling all other elements. Mental models from Framework 2 enhance judgment quality, informing better decisions across all activities. Extreme ownership from Framework 3 builds trust, making others willing to grant opportunities for demonstrating capability. Rapid execution from Framework 4 multiplies impact of all other skills through faster delivery. Learning mastery from Framework 5 enables continuous improvement across all competence dimensions. Multidisciplinary breadth from Framework 6 provides context and cross-domain insights, enriching all work. Superior communication from Framework 7 makes all other capabilities visible and influential. Calm composure from Framework 8 enables performing under pressure when stakes are highest. Remarkable results from Framework 9 provide ultimate proof, validating all claimed capabilities. Each framework element enhances and enables others, creating reinforcing system. The progressive development sequence recognizes that building complete competence architecture requires years, making strategic phased approach essential. Foundation phase focuses on Frameworks 1 through 3, developing deep technical mastery, building core mental models, and cultivating ownership, establishing solid capability base over first 1 to 2 years. Execution phase adds Frameworks 4 and 5, developing rapid, high-quality execution and mastering strategic learning over next 1 to 2 years, building on foundation. Breadth phase incorporates Framework 6, building multidisciplinary knowledge over 1 to 2 years, adding perspective and connections. Communication phase implements Framework 7, developing superior communication, making capabilities visible over 1 to 2 years. Mastery phase integrates Frameworks 8 and 9, cultivating composure and building results track record over final 1 to 2 years. Full integration typically requires 5 to 7 years of sustained deliberate development across all dimensions, creating genuinely comprehensive competence. The balanced attention maintains development across all framework elements rather than obsessively perfecting single dimension while neglecting others. Most people naturally gravitate toward comfortable areas, creating imbalanced development with strength in preferred domains and weakness in avoided areas. True competence requires deliberate attention, ensuring all elements develop adequately. Establish regular practice in all framework areas. Track development across dimensions, identify and address lagging elements, and maintain balanced comprehensive growth rather than lopsided expertise. The synergy recognition identifies how frameworks multiply each other's effectiveness, creating compound advantages. Technical mastery becomes far more valuable when combined with superior communication, making expertise accessible. Learning ability multiplies more rapidly when combined with multidisciplinary breadth, creating cross-domain insights. Execution speed increases when combined with mental models, enabling better decisions. Results become more remarkable when combining technical skill, ownership, execution, and composure. Consciously leverage synergies by applying multiple frameworks together. The continuous calibration assesses current competence level across all dimensions, identifying strengths requiring maintenance and weaknesses requiring focused development. Regularly evaluate yourself honestly across all 9 frameworks. Compare against most competent people you observe, identify specific gaps requiring attention, and adjust development focus accordingly. Calibration prevents complacency and ensures continued growth. The context adaptation recognizes that competence architecture must flex across different situations, contexts, and roles while maintaining core elements. Different contexts emphasize different competence dimensions. Crisis situations prioritize composure and rapid execution. Strategic decisions emphasize judgment and mental models. Client relationships emphasize communication and results. Adapt emphasis while maintaining all elements. The identity integration shifts from viewing competence as thing you do to competence as who you are. Competent person is identity, not just skill set. This identity shift makes competence natural, authentic, and sustainable, rather than effortful performance. Cultivate identity as comprehensively competent person through consistent action across all frameworks. The lifelong commitment accepts that competence development never completes, but continues throughout career and life. Each level of competence enables the next level of possible development. Commit to perpetual growth, maintaining development across all dimensions indefinitely. Most competent people are those who never stop developing. The implementation requires designing comprehensive competence architecture, integrating all 9 frameworks, developing elements progressively through multi-systematic approach, maintaining balanced attention across all dimensions, preventing lopsided growth, recognizing and leveraging synergies where frameworks multiply each other, continuously calibrating, identifying strengths and gaps, adapting emphasis to context while maintaining all elements, integrating competence into identity, not just skills, committing to lifelong development across all dimensions, and treating comprehensive competence as multidimensional architecture requiring sustained development across technical mastery, judgment, ownership, execution, learning, breadth, communication, composure, and results, creating genuinely most capable person in any room. Integrate all frameworks into competence architecture. Develop comprehensively across dimensions. Build complete system or remain partially competent. You have learned 10 frameworks for becoming most competent person in any room. Framework 1. Developing deep technical mastery in core domain. Framework 2. Building comprehensive mental models, enabling superior judgment. Framework 3. Cultivating extreme ownership and reliability, making you trustworthy. Framework 4. Developing rapid, high-quality execution speed. Framework 5. Mastering strategic learning and skill acquisition. Framework 6. Building broad, multidisciplinary knowledge, creating connections. Framework 7. Developing superior communication, making competence visible. Framework 8. Cultivating calm, competent demeanor under pressure. Framework 9. Building track record of remarkable results, proving capability. Framework 10. Integrating all elements into comprehensive competence architecture. What matters now is starting one framework today. 5 immediate priorities. Identify core domain requiring mastery and begin daily deliberate practice. Learn one powerful mental model and apply it to current decision. Take complete ownership of one outcome without any excuses. Deliver one commitment faster and better than expected. Identify highest value skill to learn strategically and start today. Start immediately. Develop systematically. Become most competent. Stop being overshadowed and start becoming most competent person in any room, creating automatic authority, influence, and opportunity. Stop mediocre invisible capabilities and start undeniable comprehensive excellence across all competence dimensions. Develop frameworks systematically, integrate comprehensively, and become most competent through unwavering commitment starting right now today.